Hello guys, what is up to another YouTube video and more, and in today's video we're going to be checking out the newly released G.I. Joe Rock and Roll. This guy looks awesome. I picked this up at my GameStop right there. It was literally I think 30 bucks on the money. So yeah, this guy looks awesome. Retro carded Rock and Roll. Love the G.I. Joe logo up there. The figure looks awesome. Comes with a bunch of guns. They also had in the wave this one over there. If you want to read the bio, there is that right there. And yeah, with that said, let's not waste any more time. Let's go and crack this guy open. And to be honest, I do not care all that much about this packaging. So we're going to try and jam my finger in there. And then pull this guy out. Oh. Aha. And then here's everything he comes with. Looks like we've got a little stupid ass zip tie right there. And we've got a little tray rack here for his bandolier. Getting this guy out of the package. He looks pretty sick. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. So, yeah, let's go ahead and take a deeper look. Rock and roll, bitches! First up, taking a look at the head sculpt, and this head sculpt looks pretty decent. Actually, this looks pretty good. He's got this nice dark kind of gray wash right in there over the yellow of his hair. And the irises, the eyes are sculpted very nicely and painted very nicely in there. It looks like his hair is kind of down because of his helmet, I'm gonna assume. But putting the helmet on there, he does look pretty nice. Must say, love the beard. I think that right there looks awesome with the helmet and the beard. And yeah, so the head sculpt looks pretty nice. Got something shiny on there. I don't know what that is. Yeah, so the head sculpt is the thing, I guess, has like a glossy coat over it. And then getting into the torso, I don't collect G.I. Joe like often, so if anything is reuse or something like that, I honestly just don't know. So I'm gonna assume the arms and the torso, and I know the legs are reuse because I'm pretty sure these legs are the same ones as like the Dusty and also Mutt from the Mutt and Junkyard 2-pack. I also think that the belt is reuse as well. One thing that I think is new, or actually no, I think this whole figure is just reused from the previous, the classified version of Rock and Roll, because this is the retro carded version. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this whole thing is reused, but you can see he has these awesome bandoliers sculpted on him. He's got kind of like a little turtleneck type sweater thing up there up top. And you got these nice sculpted on pieces. Don't know what that's supposed to be. You do have this little holster for his gun that does come out right there. Pretty cool. Does just slide back on. And then I think these are new knee pads. I'm looking at my G.I. Joe shelf, and they might be reused knee pads. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, these boots are definitely reused. But yeah. So yeah, this guy looks pretty awesome. There's nothing too crazy going on here. I do love the rolled up sleeves right there. Oh, you can see the walkie-talkie just fell off. You have like this cantina with water. You have another couple peg holes there on his belt. I just realized that this little accessory that he comes with, let me zoom out, I think pegs right in there, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I am mistaken. No, I think it's supposed to peg right in there. Maybe, let me figure this out. So yeah, it does peg in there just like that, and you also have the walkie-talkie that can peg in there. So yeah, that's pretty cool. There is a bit of gappage in the torso, but that's okay. And then other than that, the torso and the legs are the same colored plastics, kind of like this dark green color, like this olive dark green. It does have a peg hole in the back for a backpack that he doesn't come with. And then the figure is all pinless. So yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into the articulation. So you pretty much know what you're getting into with classified. The head does go up that far, which is really nice, better than most Supermans. And then the head does go down that far, pretty okay. You do get some nice head tilting in there. And yeah, all the way around. Same with, I'm pretty sure the neck moves on this guy as well. Yeah, it does. And then you get into the arms, which raise above 90 degrees all the way around. Ooh, that's kind of loose. Then you do have butterfly joints that are okay. They're kind of mid, to be honest. They're not that great. You do have bicep swivel, double jointed, pinless elbows, and then hinge and swivel on the wrist. And then getting into the torso, you do have a ball jointed waist, and with that and the ab crunch, you can crunch down about that far, which is okay. Arc back that far, and of course you get all the way around with the ball jointed waist. The legs do kick up about that far. They are drop downs. You can get some drop down movement up in there. You do have some thigh swivel, double jointed, pinless knees, boot cut, and then of course ankles that go down that far up, pivot, and yeah, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. Now let's get into some of the accessories he comes with. Of course, going first up into the hands, he does come with 2 trigger holding hands right there. He does come with 1 alternate fist for this hand, and then he comes with this badass rocking hand, which I really love because of course this is rock and roll, so you gotta have him rocking some his hands like that with the little devil horns. Looks awesome. And then he does come with the included GI Joe base stand with the logo right there. You can peg him in there just like that, and yeah, looks pretty cool. Now getting into the other stuff he comes with again this little walkie-talkie, which is pretty cool. You can have him hold this. I think that's cool and awesome. And he comes with a little peg, of course, to peg onto the side. He does come with this little piece that I think plugs into the gun, which, as you can see here, it does come with an extra bandolier, which is really tight in there. So you get that bandolier. You do have the gun, which has, I think this is like just some sort of infantry rifle. I don't really know guns. You do have these things that kind of fold out at an angle like that, so you can have it resting. And then you do have the trigger right there. And now, I don't know how to plug this in exactly, but I think it just goes in like that. I think it goes in like that, yeah. And then you can have him wielding it with this hand. Although it's kind of awkward though, because his finger is pushing out the little cartridge right there with the ammo. So, I don't know. Kind of weird. And it can't go on this side either, because there's no plug on this side. So, I guess you'd have to use the other trigger hand, but then you can't be using the rock and roll thing. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. It's kind of weird. So, I guess you just have to use this extra bandolier that he comes with. That does slide in there, but it is really, really tight in there. Like, it's hard to get it through. Doesn't want to go through right now. But other than that, he does come with one more thing, which is, of course, the helmet, which I like this helmet. I think this looks really awesome on him. I could just imagine him on, like, a helicopter in the air, and he's just firing down at people. Like, this looks awesome. That's the thing I love the most about the G.I. Joe line, is that it just looks like a fun line. It's just a really fun line that you can have with your figures, messing around with the figures and stuff. Like, this is just a fun action figure line, and sometimes that's what you need. The gun does have a little peg hole up in there, so if you have like a blast effect, you can port that in. Plugging this part in on this side, and it's like, see, it's weird. I don't know, they didn't do the best with that accessory. It doesn't really fit in nicely, unless I'm doing it wrong, but I don't think I am. And then of course the last accessory is the pistol, which I did kind of forget about, not gonna lie, but that does fit in his hand nicely. You can have him shooting some Cobra scum. But yeah, this guy looks awesome. And then no comparisons for today's, because you guys all know what G.I. Joe figures are, but I am putting him here for kind of a little comparison next to my other G.I. Joe figures on my G.I. Joe shelf. Let me know if you guys would like to see a full video on this, but yeah, Rock and Roll next to the other G.I. Joes look awesome. I need to get more Cobra, because Scrap Iron is my only one, but yeah, gotta say, Rock and Roll does look amazing on this shelf. So yeah, guys, that is gonna do it for today's video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that you can roll. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of this Rock and Roll figure from G.I. Joe. Honestly, he is a pretty cool figure. He comes with a decent amount of accessories, like not the most in the world, but I think he comes with enough of what he needs. I would have liked another extra Rock and Roll hand, and then maybe another gun, but honestly, overall, this guy's pretty awesome and badass, and he looks great next to the other Joes. So yeah, guys, that's going to do it. Peace.